And here we are. What's up, guys? How we all doing? Good evening or morning? How about both? It could be both. Maybe playing some Apollo Justice while I watch this. You know, I never got into those games, the Ace Attorney stuff. I like the general idea of them, but I don't know. It just, something doesn't click. I don't like stationary screens where I make a lot of menu options on. Like I like to be able to move around and explore. I like adventure games, point and click adventure games. They're not too far removed from the Ace Attorney games, right? But I have control over where my character goes and the scenery changes, and it's not like a menu based thing. I think I have a very specific form of autism. Oh shit, Cat Miner 369. What's up, dude? It's been a while. How you doing, man? When it snows in Tokyo, Jared tries to find random Japanese men to do the husband. Now we are homeless meat. Wait, hold on. I have to see this meme now because I've never heard of this. This better be a really good meme, Cockrock. I have high expectations for you. Let's see what we got. Okay. Just play the audio.
ハスバンと You buy too much V-Bucks, Robux, マインコインズ You play video game all day You don't have a job Now we are homeless
Yeah, that's about it. Oh no! I would be lying if I said I didn't expect that ending. Oh, hey, I like Winter Olympics. Hell yeah, dude. It's just a little spotty snow right now, but me and Josine went to the local cafe in the neighborhood and got some coffee. It was very nice. Homeless Jared Saga went. I don't know. Let's see how YouTube goes for the next little bit, and we'll find out. Oh yeah, I did catch it. Morning, sir. The Film Man as Jocko. Welcome, dude. You were in on last Sunday, right? Darkseid is a good point and click. You know, I'll be honest, I never played it, but I've seen both Grimbeard and Magular cover it, and there's no way my playthrough would ever be as good as their videos covering it, so I think I'm good. Giga Chad voice. Thank you very much. It is, it's the only one I got, so I'm glad people like it. Hey, what's up, Chip Chat? I'm Batman. Let's switch over to some gameplay. We're in. Okay, so I think we should have everything. I know I'm jinxing this, knock on wood over here. We should have everything technology-wise set up for this stream. The text-to-speech should be loud enough for both me and you to hear. You guys will obviously let me know if the game audio... Fuck, we have to do this again. Hold on one second. There we go. I don't know what it is. For some reason, my controller's booting up into analog mode instead of D-pad mode. I feel like that's going to be a little too quiet. We will find out for sure. Let's get some music going. Oh, good. No music in this area. It's pretty quiet, right? We'll see. We'll wait till we get to some actual music, but it seems like it might be too quiet. I don't know if this is going to be enough. Not much. Got some PS1 games today. Going to play MGS 2 tomorrow with a friend in one sitting. Oh, fuck, that's fun. Me and the wife, man, I have such a fond memory of this. So when me and Josine first moved in together, it was sort of by necessity because her parents were Okay, that might be all right, sound-wise. Yeah. Her parents were moving to North Carolina, and me and Josine had been in a relationship at that point for, I want to say a year, maybe a little longer than a year, but not much. And we had to decide what we were going to do because either she would move with her parents or my parents were nice enough to offer. It's like, listen, if you love this girl, she can live here with us, live in your room basically, which I think is not a very common situation, I would imagine. But yeah, so she moved in with me when we were both teenagers and I was still living with my parents. And since we had this sort of like, it was like brand new. I had never lived with a girl before. And obviously she had never lived with a guy before. And we're both these dorks that love video games. So we went through these phases of playing games together. And I think we started watching, this is how long this goes back. We were watching the game trailers retrospective series where they would go through and explain the stories of like all the Final Fantasy games, all the Metal Gear Solid games and stuff like that, right? And she was like mega into it. So she decided like, hey, let's play through all the Metal Gear Solid games. And essentially that was just me playing through them and her kind of like watching because she was like, she really got a kick out of that. And I remember we played through every Metal Gear game up to that point, up until MGS4, when her and I had moved out of my parents' house and lived in an apartment together, and we played through that together as well. So we kind of have like a history with MGS games, which is always thinking about the series makes me nostalgic. Favorite MGS game? That's tough. In terms of gameplay, like a fun full package to just run through, I gotta go with 2. In terms of like just being interested in the gameplay, probably MGS 3. 3 has the best story, I would say, and the most emotional impact. I think while 2's story is pretty interesting, pretty far ahead of its time and very cool in a lot of ways, it is sort of like word salad for a lot of shit, and I think maybe it was ahead of its time and something that could be way more appreciated today than I appreciated it when I first got to it. But what it did a great job of making me feel like, whoa, this is really smart. When it wasn't necessarily the smartest thing in the world. It just felt that way because of the way it was being presented, which was cool. But yeah, I think MGS 2 in terms of a playthrough, MGS 3 in terms of a story to experience. That's me. I mean, I love playing both of them. Oh, see, the memory card's been being fucking weird lately. Okay. Interesting. I don't know if you guys remember last time, just before we stopped streaming, my memory card got corrupted. No Revengeance. I still, to this day, have not played Revengeance, and it looks like it would so hard be up my alley. I'm not sure why I haven't. I'll always take the first game. It's so solid. Is that supposed to be a joke, grab ass? I mean, the first game's great, and what's awesome about the first game is every time I replay it, I go, oh fuck, I forgot how short this game was. Regan Callahan says, I was watching gameplay, hopefully, yeah, Callahan. Callahan, my bad. I was watching gameplay of Stellar Blade, but Eve was modded to be Kasumi from DOA. I feel like we need a game like this centered around Kasumi. Huh. It's weird that we haven't gotten one yet, right? That feels, and then, Team Ninja do a lot of character action games, so that kind of feels like that should have happened a long time ago. Interesting. I didn't even think about that. Overseer Never Sleeps. Nice to see you playing PE again, bro. You know, honestly, what I normally do on this channel, and I think people who are around for a lot of these streams are well aware of this, I just play games for that stream, just for like a little bit, and then I get bored of them, and we stream something else the next time. And I was thinking to myself today, we're not doing that. I'm going to actually like finish a fucking video game on stream, because we do that so rarely. It's mostly just Code Veronica. I think old heads know that when it comes time to stream, my go-to is always Code Veronica for whatever fucking reason. So we're doing this. We're fucking getting it. By any chance, do you remember the first game you played on PS1? I think the very first game that I ever actually played on a PlayStation 1 console was a demo kiosk in Best Buy, and it was the Final Fantasy VII demo that would eventually end up on the Urgai's disc that came with the game. That was the very first time, and I remember it was Christmas, and my dad was buying a Christmas present for my mom, which we do air quotes when we do that, because he was buying her a surround sound system.
Have you
which
ever
she
played
didn't care.
Samurai Champloo Sidetracked?
No, I don't think I have. Chip Chap, thank you for the $2, by the way. Sidetracked. I seem to remember there being a PS2 game, like a Champloo PS2 game. Let me see if this is what I'm thinking of. Sidetracked. Yeah, on PS2. Okay, yeah. No, I've never actually played this before. It's looking interesting as fuck. Who makes this? I can't see. Bandai? Oh, I'm sure they probably just licensed out the anime, I would imagine. Huh. Yo, I like the little heads-up display with the fucking turntable on the top and the BPM meter and stuff. This looks sick. I need to do like an underrated PS2 games video. That'd be sick as fuck. My first PS2 game is Max Payne 1. Listen, it's not the best way to play that game, but the worst way to play that game is to not have played it at all, so... Cheers to that, dog. Can I see what you are on the M79? Tranquilizer. I think that like adds a slow effect. And man, I feel like that would be really useful, right? Definitely got to be useful. Let's see how slow the M79 is. And let's fuck with this for a bit, because why not? We're here, right? Parasite Eve or Blue Stinger? I mean, listen, I know which one you want me to say, Grab-a-Hassy, but my heart tells me Parasite Eve. I think Blue Stinger has a much more appropriately Christmas soundtrack, if that makes you feel any better. Any forecast on when there will be enough new entries to make Wild World of RE Clones Volume 8? I think that this is going to be Volume 10 now, right? Hold on, let's see. I'm pretty sure the last one was 9, or maybe it was 10. Let's see. Resident Evil Clones Volume 9. So the next one will be 10. Honestly, if I had the time, we'd have one right now, because there are more than enough games. Thanks to survivalhorrors.com, which is a really cool little aggregate site that sort of tracks brand new up-and-coming survival horror games and links to their demos and stuff. There's so many projects that even I didn't know about, which, you know, is fucking just like insane. Because I'm over here non-stop checking up on this shit. God, that's so satisfying. Really and truly, it is the most useful in terms of like DPS to use a... Get out of my way, though. to use a handgun, but what if I were to just use this M79 and fucking beef that bad boy up? Who would stop me? And this makes him like act slower, so fucking damn, I don't know. Maybe I want to use this M79 just literally for the feels. There's been a rash of classic modern RE inspired demos. Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff. Like I said, just shit even I wasn't aware of. So I have enough right now to do it. The only problem is I'm working on a Max Payne video, and I don't want to brag or anything, but your boy's got access to Ground Zero, the survival horror game that takes place in South Korea. It's really fucking cool. The way that it works, though, this is an early access build, and they don't want me to show any content past a certain point in the late game, which is understandable, and I agreed to those terms, obviously, but I'm wondering if I should just wait until the whole game is available. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sort of like weighing my options in that sense. But I have a bunch of projects that are right now in the works, and I'm trying to think of how I can best fit all this shit together. Okay, so let's take your attributes, because really and truly, these are very similar layouts here. It's a little slower, but I really, really fucking like how fun it sounds to shoot it. I mean, what are we going to lose, right? Not a lot of bullets. That definitely needs to be changed, but we're adding 7. So we are going to be very close to the 15 that the Beretta M92 uses anyway. I think we go for it. I say we go for it. Fuck it, dude. I love the weapon customization in this game. It's so good. Parasite Eve, why not Parasite Steve? That's a very good question, actually. When are we going to get a Forbidden Siren retrospective? You know, I won't lie to you, probably not very soon. That's probably going to be one of those series that I don't talk about until I have to. Not that it's bad, but those games are just so trial and error. It's, man, especially the first one, dude. The first one is fucking rough, dog. Yo, survival horror game set in North Korea would sound interesting. It's pretty dope. It takes place after a meteor has struck South Korea. Wait, North Korea, you said. North Korea would be very interesting. You know what I always thought would be a really cool setting would be like 1700s England, or maybe like London specifically. You know, cobblestone streets and a very kind of like dirty, gritty fucking feel to it. And it takes place during like maybe a disease outbreak. So the city's sectioned off into like areas that are infected and areas that are clean. I've always had like this nebulous idea of a game that functions in that kind of way in my head, but never like the vocabulary to properly explain it. So I'm fucking tortured by it. It's crazy how the knowledge or lack of knowledge of the weapon customization can change someone's experience of Parasite Eve. Yeah, I mean, really and truly for me, return the slab. What are we talking about? What slab? Yeah, for me, one of the funnest parts of the game is customizing the guns. What slab are we talking about here? All right, we have a tool. What do we have? We have here the M92. I don't think you have anything that I need, M92. Oh wow, the snow's starting to come down. Man, it's so fucking nice when it snows in Tokyo. I'm in a good mood now, guys. Thank you all for being here for my good mood. So with Jack the Ripper, sort of like Jack the Ripper timeline, but he doesn't necessarily have to, you know what I mean, be in it or anything. Do Pathologic 3 has come out? I'm gonna level with you. Never been a Pathologic guy. I enjoy watching videos covering Pathologic, but I really don't like the idea of the game conceptually. Just one of those things not for me, I don't think. And like, that's one of those games that people fucking love. So I often find myself like apologizing for not liking it. It's for sure not my cup of tea. I understand the concept of like a video game doesn't necessarily have to be the end all be all of a video game, doesn't have to be like fun necessarily. But when I hear developers are specifically aiming to make a game not fun, I can't think of a faster way to get my wiener soft than like, what was his name? That fucking dickhead from Naughty Dog, Druckmann. When Neil Druckmann was like, yeah, when we were developing The Last of Us 2, I didn't let people, you know, talk about fun. Like it was like banned or something. And I'm like, that's fucking lame. Like that's so stupid. Like video games should probably be fun. I mean, I understand if you maybe take in the course of creating the video game, if you were to prioritize certain things other than fun, like storytelling, you know, something along those lines, then yeah, for sure, like I could get down with that. But just the idea of just completely getting rid of the idea of fun during game development just shows me it feels like a very pretentious idea. And maybe Pathologic 3 isn't a game made to be pretentious, but I feel like in and of itself that is a very I don't like that approach. And it feels to me like and this is coming from somebody who's watched a lot of content on the game, but I haven't played it myself, so there's all kinds of stuff I could be wrong about. But it seems like a game that sort of like it caters itself to the idea of being inefficiently designed and not necessarily being enjoyable to play through, and a story that requires just tons and tons of effort on the player's end to understand it. And it may seem kind of like counterintuitive because I just suck off the Silent Hill series so often, but I find Silent Hill game stories to be really, really fucking easy to like understand on a conceptual level. I think Silent Hill is like beginner's level media literacy as far as I'm concerned, but once you go past that point, it's sort of like I'm kind of out, to be honest with you. Benny Druckmann, what do you do now? I don't know if I told you, David. Benny's back, man. I talked to him on Discord. My man's fucking feeling it. Did I get in the Legacy of Kain games much? You know, not really, but that's Soul Reaver. I thought was really clunky in terms of exploration. I love the combat and the idea of switching between like the spirit world and the real world and stuff. I enjoyed a lot of aspects of it, and I liked the idea of a kind of dark, almost post-apocalyptic vampire gothic story. I'm on board with almost everything, but every part of the game is so samey looking that it's really hard to navigate. Even once you unlock the teleporters, I don't remember where I am ever in that game. But to be fair to the developers, they kind of had to make the environment like that so that they could morph it to the two different worlds. You know what I mean? The geometry had to be morphable like that. So they kind of had to put the same exact textures that were scalable on everything. So I understand the technical reasons why it's that case, but I feel like it's sort of, for me at least, It makes it very easy for me to get lost and very hard for me to remember what I have and have not done. And it's bothersome in that sense. Other than that, though, I found it really fun, and I found the world building really fun, and kind of jumping into a story because I had never played the previous games before Soul Reaver. So like I was jumping into a story kind of halfway, not knowing who anyone was. So shit was just throwing at me, and I was enjoying that. Like I was like, oh fuck, this world seems really deep. But I don't know. I bounced off of it in terms of the exploration. I hated Druckmann for saying that and a whole bunch of other things. Forcing out Amy Hennig, killing Joel, simping for Anita Sarkeesian. It's one of the worst things to happen to gaming since E.T. Oh yeah, the E.T. game. I was trying to think of like what's E.T. short for or something. Yeah, no, it's dumb shit and it's stupid. I think Neil Druckmann is probably no more guilty of being performatively, I hate the term, but like, woke. He's no more guilty of that than anybody else who has a significant platform on the internet. It's sort of like when you are on social media so often, it's very easy for you to believe that the world, everybody on Earth sort of thinks in certain terms. And so when it comes time to like make your position well known among people, it's very easy to go like, oh yeah, everybody loves this. I'll like hitch my wagon to the Anita Sarkeesian cart. It's like, no, she kind of just fucked a lot of people over, and people don't like her. For like fairly understandable reasons. Like she had to GoFundMe and never delivered on it, and acted like it was really, really hard to make an internet video series. And then didn't capture her own gameplay footage despite, making whatever, like $1 million to produce it. And was pretty disingenuous about the points that she would make, how games related to social issues. And I don't know, like, here's the problem, is it's really easy when you make a comment like, I don't like Anita Sarkeesian, for that to be misconstrued for like some sort of like political position. It's like, no, she's like, she scammed a lot of people, and she's a liar. She's very dishonest. And to be, and this is a personal thing. She's not very intelligent, but she is sort of sold as a very intelligent person. And that's something that bothers me personally. That's something I don't like ever. That's something that always really bothers me personally. So, I might as well, because that fucking random it hits somebody thing, I don't know if that's useful, but I don't know that it's not. Okay, maybe, fuck, dude. Maybe we just take the shit off the M92. It's 3 shots. Let's take just, we need to clear up some space. We're going to keep the N-word jacket on, though. I'd love $1 million. I'd be willing to give it to you, David. She stole footage. Yeah, I mean, well, here's the problem. I can't necessarily get on board with the idea she stole footage. I mean, she did to a degree, but here on YouTube, a lot of us will go to like World of Long plays in order, like if I mention Mario RPG in a video and I talk about a specific character that you only get like 6 hours in, like, I'm sorry, I really love my job and I don't want people to think I'm lazy, but I'm not playing 6 hours of Mario RPG because I mentioned it once in a video. But it does make a video a little more cohesive and entertaining to watch if you do include small details like that. So ripping footage off of a YouTube long play is perfectly understandable. And I don't think Anita Sarkeesian did anything bad by doing that. That being said, I don't get paid $1 million from my fans to fucking criticize video games. She could have paid somebody else to get that footage. You know what I mean? So, like, it's not necessarily that she stole footage, is that she's really a disingenuous liar. And if she didn't get the footage herself, it leaves the door open to the idea that she doesn't necessarily fully understand the game she's critiquing. And potentially that leads a person to logically follow that she doesn't necessarily understand the social concept she's tying to that game. You know what I mean? Because like I've also been the victim of a fucking loser being pissed off because I had 1.67 seconds of him lag testing a TV in one of my videos when I mentioned the concept of lag testing modern televisions in order to see how they perform with video game consoles. And it's like, I think as a YouTuber, there is a bit of that can just sort of be par for the course. Now, to be fair, it is a, what is the word? It's a kindness and a gratitude thing that you were able to find footage to include, and maybe in your description where you got that footage from. And even though it doesn't necessarily, send people towards that channel for the most part, it's just something nice. It's a platitude, and it's nice to have somebody say, hey, by the way, I used your footage for this. It's like, oh, great, because my footage is available for everybody.
Has no nutritional value.
There's no protein in tofu? Hold on, David. Hold on. Let's see if that's the case. I know. Is there protein in tofu? Tofu's rich in protein, David. What are we talking about here? I mean, I don't like it personally, but still. I'm not going to sit here and be party to disinformation. Anyways, my point is that I think it is sort of part of the YouTube game. We all put our content on YouTube understanding that someone may at some point take portions of it and use it in their content. And whether or not a person is comfortable with that, it's a personal thing. And I think, whoever's position, it's truly up to them and how they feel. And that's totally fine. But I think realistically speaking, if you have your footage available on a public platform and somebody is not profiting off of using the bulk of your footage without changing it in any sort of way, like the terms of fair use, I think, are a really good guideline morally for somebody to justify using content off of another YouTube channel. And I think Anita Sarkeesian didn't necessarily do anything wrong in taking footage from another YouTuber. I think her problem is she was a much bigger YouTuber that refused to credit where she got the footage from. And sort of the crux of her argument circled around the idea that she knew the game well enough to be able to criticize it. But if you're not even getting footage of the game, it really calls into question that, knowledge. It really and truly, it's like, I hate it when people say it, but it is a much more complicated issue than just Anita Sarkeesian stole footage. There's a lot more to it than that. Because if Jim Sterling were to use footage from another YouTuber and credit them in a video, I don't think anybody would ever care, not myself included, you know what I mean? Or Yahtzee Crochet or whoever, like if somebody uses somebody else's footage, it's fine, in my opinion, because my footage is fully 100%. If you want to use things like my frame rate graphs, my comparisons, just gameplay overall, it's honestly yours. It's just as long as you're not uploading more than fucking 35% of my video for you to profit from.
Would you be interested in being a guest on my Shisha retrospective? I think it would be really good to see the perspective of someone who was there when those games were new.
Thanks for the $10, Chip Chap. Yeah, sure. I would 100% be down to do that. Do me a favor, hit me up on Twitter and let me know the specifics, how long you want it to be and stuff like that. Whether or not you want, like if I'm just doing the voiceover and you'll put footage to it or, all that stuff, and we'll work it out. No problem. Oh, that reminds me, I'm going to be in another YouTuber's Resident Evil video. I have to complete that too. I'll just steal your Ring of Red video. Dude, Good taste on you. It is yours, my friend. I have no idea who these people are. I only watch Jared in recordings of 911 calls. Man, you are going to love when my 911 video comes out. It's just me calling 911 on people who stole my footage. This happens to me every time I get to this point, by the way. What gets me mad is the AI channels that use footage from multiple creators. Yeah, like fucking Super Derek RPGs getting his footage ripped off by these fucking bullshit RPG channels that will have like a thumbnail of a video game that doesn't exist because they created it with AI. Such fucking garbage. Same thing. They take like David Vink's bullshit. It fucking sucks. So that means you're down for voicing a playthrough of Ethnic Cleansing. Good to know. Voicing it? I mean, I would like react to the things that happen on screen. I don't know that I would tie my voice to a playthrough of it. Is gameplay of that game even allowed on YouTube? I would imagine that's like one of the few things that you just can't find anymore. Anita Sarkeesian kind of won. She was hated online, but the industry just implanted all of her stuff. You know, you're not wrong. She definitely did in that sense. I think she won probably financially and achieving. Realistically speaking, she wasn't interested in making it rich, in my opinion. She was interested in clout and respect and notoriety. And she definitely got that. But she's also like alone and becoming increasingly more and more fat, and I would, you know, me personally, I would argue unattractive, which tends to be, you know, the end result of a person who doesn't think that they need to put effort into themselves in order for other people to like them. So I think she won in one sense, but I think everybody who ends up finding someone who loves them very much and getting married and settling down, maybe having a few kids and enjoying their lives and feeling fulfillment from their jobs and really getting a sense that they have accomplished something in their life, has won a lot harder than Anita Sarkeesian ever will. Because realistically speaking, she's her ideas about the world are probably going to leave her to die alone, and that's sad. That's not good, you know. But I would say the fact that she won is a very you have to qualify that statement to a pretty wild degree. Now that you're in Japan, when are you going to hunt down all the credits at Ring of Red and forcing them into your sweatshop to make Ring of Red 2? Dude. But you know, you think about it at this point, do you trust someone to make a really good strategy RPG in the modern landscape? Like, I'm worried, man. I think, whoa, one of these used to be open. Am I crazy? Listen, you guys tell me right now, one of these used to be open when the lights were off. Oh, fuck, there's nothing in here, is there? They're playing psyops on me. This is how they get you. The chemtrails. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know if I trust anybody to make Ring of Red 2. Look what they did to fucking the Front Mission remakes. God damn, man. Just make a fucking SRPG. Fuck. I found it sad that she had a wedding for herself by herself. Yeah, that's my exhibit A of, you know, the idea like Anita Sarkeesian won. It's like, yeah, if that's what you consider winning. Oh man, the snow's really starting to come down now. Man, this is such a cozy vibe. I'm glad you guys are here to share it with me. Oh, Triangle Strategy. I still haven't, hold on. No, I didn't mean to do that. What's up, Bitbox Greg? I haven't seen you in a bit. I still haven't played Triangle Strategy. I do have a very heavy, I hate the Switch bias, though, so that might be one. Will Black is White. What's up, dude? Been a while.
Thoughts on a remake for MMORPG RE Outbreak game?
Regan O'Callahan, thank you very, very much for the $2. Honestly, Outbreak getting any sort of attention, I'm 100% on board with. Again, the same thing I said about Ring of Red 2, actually. I don't know that I trust Capcom to make the right decisions for Outbreak to exist the way that it should, which is for it to be like a cooperative Resident Evil campaign. You know, that's what really made that game so incredible. The tenseness of survival horror mixed with the ever-present fucking stress of not being able to pause the game and having to rely on other people and having to coordinate key items on different floors at differing times and approaching a problem from several different perspectives using several different characters. I feel like now it would just be a Resident Evil 2 remake Mercenaries mode. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, spiritually, I'm right there with you, but realistically... Hey, Carlick, what's up, dog? How we doing today? A good Parasite evening to you, Ego Dreamer. Fuck, I almost called you Igor Dreamer. It's been a while, man. How you been? Waiting on PS2 recompilation to advance so we have native PC versions of PS2 games. We're almost there, dude. And then finally, we're going to have Front Mission 4, PC native 4K, properly upscaled 2D textures. Son, we will be living the life. That's going to be the end of it right there. Society need not advance any further. Native PC ports of PS2 games like Silent Hill 3, fucking hell, man. And I'm going to come out and say it, fucking Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy 7, that already has native keyboard and mouse support. You know how much less work that is for the fucking decompilers? Holy shit. Something on the lines of 4-player RE6 multiplayer wouldn't be bad for an Outbreak remake. I think that wouldn't be bad for a RE6 thing. I think that would be pretty antithetical to the Outbreak ethos, if you ask me. Because Outbreak is very much disempowering, and RE6 sort of loses a lot of its luster if you are disempowered. I'm hoping Parasite Mutant does well. Me too. And I'm hoping 45 Parabellum does too. There's some fucking heat coming at us recently, boys. Also, by the way, if you watched my Parasite Mutant video, thank you very much. I'm really stoked. That video is doing well, and people seem to really, really be enjoying it. I'm feeling the response. A lot of people are giving me feedback on it, and they're really liking the series. So, I don't know. I've been very disillusioned with YouTube lately because of how tough they've been on my channel. But I'm getting scores of comments from people saying, hey, this actually showed up in my sub feed. And then I'm getting comments on videos I uploaded a month ago. People saying, hey, this finally showed up for me just now or something. So, you know, maybe YouTube is deciding to treat me a little better, which would be very cool. So thank you very much. If you liked the Parasite Mutant video or commented on it or anything like that, it's very much appreciated. Torcy says, Jared, Capcom could have stopped doing shitty multiplayer spin-offs and just used RE Make 2 assets to make an Outbreak successor instead of Umbrella Corps, Project Resistance, and Reverse. Yeah, 100%. But to be fair, I'm pretty sure they farmed all of those projects out. But to be even more fair, I'm also pretty sure that it was an external team that created Outbreak. Yeah, who fucking knows what's going on? I fantasized creating a survivor, the stats, building survivor effects, infection rates, finding other survivors. So the MMORPG aspect of it, I fully get that, man. I mean, that is kind of the dream. You know what I mean? So I fully see where you're coming from. I'm definitely on board with Demolition, man. Sometimes I skip videos covering new games until I have a chance to play them myself. Demolition gets around that perfectly. Hell yeah. Yeah, because, it's just a quick look. And it's me being overly analytical about things that don't necessarily have to do with, like, the story or something that would ruin the experience for a first timer. I'm really enjoying that series a lot, actually. I'm feeling it pretty hard. You know what? I have to go pee real quick. Do you guys mind waiting right here just for a quick second? I'm going to go pee. Everybody talk amongst yourselves. The subject will be how many of you guys have played Ring of Red, and whoever says that they haven't in chat, berate them, please, heavily for it. I'll be RB. And I'm back. I took my hoodie off. Jared, stream your stream. The chat demands it. What are we talking about? Am I not streaming my stream right now? If I was smart, I would save the P to sell to deranged fans. Correct. Very correct. If I'm known for anything, it's not my business acumen, that's for sure. A true Saiyan always sprinkles when he tinkles. You really are super sad, man. I'm gonna level with you. Front Mission is incredible, but there's something about the, how do you say it? The sort of
I got Code Veronica yesterday and it came with a DMC1 demo. It was so cool to experience. Also, I am really loving Code Veronica. Oh, also, what was your first ever video game? Mine was Mario Kart Wii.
Chip Chap, thank you for the $10, man. Very nice of you. First off, hell yes that you're liking Code Veronica. I would say don't be scared to take a look at a strategy guide every so often, because there are moments in Code Veronica that can really fuck you if you don't know that they're coming. In terms of my very first video game, I think as a very young child, Super Mario World. No, not Super Mario. Mario 3. Yeah. Mario 3 was the first game I can remember. Oh, shit. David's giving out memberships. Thank you very much, dog. Hell yeah, dude. Are you getting out of here? Been a pleasure. Have a good one, man. Oh, yeah, definitely. Also, Torse is completely correct. Make sure to follow his advice. You want to be very well stocked up by the time you get to the cargo plane. Have all that shit on you. Trust me. Also, don't use... Okay, so you're going to get a hold of the anti-BOW rounds for the grenade launcher. Don't use those until you get to the cargo plane. Just please trust me on that one. Yeah, but my first video game, my mom and my dad were obsessed with Mario 3. And I remember seeing my dad play it, and then he had to go mow the lawn, and he left the game running, you know, no save system or anything. And he was in the middle of a level. And I'm like, no, I want to play. Let me play. And my dad's like, you're going to kill me, you know? He did not want to let me play. And I remember specifically my mom being like, come on, don't fucking... He's a kid, let him play the video game. And my dad was so indignant about it. He's like, fine, whatever. I think that might have been the very first video game that I actually played. I only played up to the first save room. Good, you have plenty of time. I just uploaded my retrospective on Mario 3. All right, well, let's go over to Bitbox. I'll watch that when I'm done. It's on Mario 3. I have my... Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, how about now? There we are. Dude, that logo's sick. Very synthwave. I like it a lot. All right, so now we're going to have to play the old game of what the fuck did I forget? Are you getting good, son? I'm trying, Dad. I'm really putting effort in. Let's see if we can't drop something in here. I got to keep the junk around. I literally never knew you could give junk to what's his name and he would fucking make a dope weapon for you. You have no idea how many times I played this game and never learned that fact. You know, Druckmann would be the only dev to say fun isn't allowed to be in video games. Even the dev for Fear and Hunger had fun killing the players so many times. Yeah, I mean, even games that are meant to be difficult are supposed to be difficult in a fun way, you know? I think what that was, I don't think Neil Druckmann specifically meant like, oh yeah, fun's not allowed. I think, and this is coming from somebody who doesn't know him, so take that for what it's worth. But I feel like Neil Druckmann was just signaling that he's a very artsy guy. He's one of those like video games are actually not that cool, so I'm going to make them cool kind of people. You know, it's like the one thing that's been missing from storytelling this whole time is Neil Druckmann's input. He's one of those guys. He's one of those, oh, you play such and such? Huh, I only play Earthbound and Silent Hill 2. I'm so much better than you. You know, one of those motherfuckers. And I think he was signaling to others that that's who he was. And the problem is, The Last of Us 1 told an amazing story, in my opinion. And I think it offered up a really fun gameplay experience, albeit a very linear one. And that gave him enough of an ego boost to feel like what he thinks matters and his creative input on the way video games are made is somehow valuable to somebody. I think that's the big issue there. But, I mean, that's another thing kind of like we were talking about with Anita Sarkeesian, because he kind of won. He's got a lot of money, and his products do sell very well. But also, everybody thinks he's a cunt. Nobody likes him. People find him to be incredibly pretentious, and I imagine he's probably not very personally fulfilled with himself, if I had to guess. So I think that's another situation where it's like, we might have won that one, you know? Not to be mean. I'm not trying to like take joy in his downfall or anything, because I don't give a fuck what happens to Neil Druckmann. But you're going to act like a fucking asshole, maybe people are going to treat you that way. And maybe it's a good thing that you realize that at some point in life, you know? I think once he was given a lot of creative platitudes by the gaming press and public and gamers in general, it sort of put him in a position where he thought it's like, oh yeah, my shit doesn't stink at all. Fuck yeah. Yeah, no, you guys are right. I'm the best. And I think a little bit of humbling was certainly in order. I'm not trying to like focus specifically on him this whole time. He just keeps coming up as an analog for a lot of the ideas that I'm talking about. Drop an item here? Oh, so I've already been there. Okay, so then I would... Wait, have I though? If it says drop an item, then yes, you already got the fucking item, Jared. I enjoyed The Last of Us 1. Story was good, atmosphere is great. 2 was a middle finger to the original, in my opinion. You know, I don't have strong feelings on part 2, but I will say this. I stopped playing part 2 a little less than halfway through. Part 1, on the other hand, I like marathoned me and my wife together because it was so fucking enthralling and such a deeply impactful story. So I'm not really sure how I feel about The Last of Us 2. Because it's been so long since I gave it a chance, and I really would like to give it another shot, and I will. I want to do a video on it coming up at some point. But I'm not 100% where I stand on The Last of Us 2. Wait, did I really not? Oh, because when the light's on, you can see it, but before you couldn't. That's why. I feel like Pedro Pascal is an example of forced safe Hispanic. What do you mean for? I mean, I know what you mean by safe Hispanic, but how so forced? Hispanic is a shit term that really doesn't make sense outside of the U.S. You know, a lot of, and not to use the word you're just talking shit about, but I am Hispanic and I have Hispanic friends, and we often describe ourselves as being Spanish in descent, even though we're not from Spain. I'm Cuban and my friends are like from Nicaragua and Chile and stuff like that. But we kind of use the word Spanish interchangeably, and I found that a lot of white people seem to think that means you're like fake, like you're not Hispanic or something like that. But I'm just like, yeah, we don't always speak in the correct terms when we describe ourselves and our stupid fucking origin stories. I don't mind the word Hispanic very much, though. It kind of makes sense. I have Spanish descent. It's like, you know, it is whatever. I don't really... I think, like, I maybe just be specific about what country you have ties to, or, you know, like racial or genetic ties to, but I don't know. Hispanic works fine enough for me. If you had to put my feet to the fire.
Dad would like to be a guest on my stream in some time.
Bomber Manifex. Yeah, sure. Why not? I do streams, podcast all the time. Do me a favor. Hit me up on Twitter. That's kind of like my main. Twitter DMs are like how I communicate with everybody. I use the word communicate very loosely there if anybody who's ever DM'd me before. But yeah, we could set that up. I really enjoy having conversations with people and getting a chance to... I've talked about this before, but parsing ideas from your brain to the speech center really helps cement them. Hey, Chip Chat, much appreciated, big dog. Oh yeah, thanks so much, man. So who got that? Grabahassi. Nobody deserves it more than him. Grabahassi, you get to hang out in the Discord now. Fuck yeah. This game has such a good soundtrack. Fuck. God damn, I love this game so much. I look forward to your future uploads. Your channel's is in my top 3. The other is Tara A. Devlin and Megan Lee for true crime and ghost stories. Awesome. Much appreciated. I'm really happy to be in somebody's top 3. Fuck yeah, dude. I guess Regan, is that a girl's name? Hopefully I haven't been duding you this entire time. Although dude does tend to be sort of gender neutral now that I think about it. You know what I mean, though. I personally don't understand people's fears or concerns about nationalities. I mean, I guess nationality comes into play in very surface level ways sometimes, but yeah, I mean, it's like, who really gives a shit, to be honest? I think the best metric for anything is how a person acts and how respectful they are to others. I mean, you could be from South Africa or fucking Queens, New York, and if you have a good interaction with me, I'm hyped on you. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, nationalities and shit. I guess, like, for census studies or maybe, like, sociological curiosities, that kind of stuff might be important. Potentially if you're dealing with issues like immigration, maybe, but I'm not 100% sure any of that stuff matters in the real world. When it's just like you and me running into each other out on the street and you happen to see I have a t-shirt on of something you like and we have a conversation, like I'm obviously nationality is never going to be a fucking prime concern from either of us. And I think that's what a lot of the time the internet tends to forget, that the world is just basically a bunch of like random face-to-face encounters, and the way interactions work on the internet, socially speaking, just aren't the norm. And a lot of people tend to take a lot of shit really seriously, when in reality, if you just like were at a place and saw a guy and heard his arguments, you'd be like, well, you know, I disagree, but fair enough, you know, I can understand your reasoning, or here's maybe something you could think about that might change your mind. But it's like, the real world is so much more chill than the internet is. You could just like, you know, because I've been in rooms with plenty of people who are like, oh yeah, I feel really heavily on this end. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, fair enough. I mean, because like, respect to you for forming your own opinion and being informed and having a sort of strong stance on something. Here's how I feel. But, you know, if that's something that you're not down with, fair enough. You know. It's good to live in a world where we can discuss our ideas, and I don't know about you, but I tend to really enjoy just the act of debate, you know, polite debate. It's like, oh yeah, really? Okay, word. No, I see where you're coming from there. How about this? You know what I mean? Like, that's a really fun fucking concept. And I get it from my dad. Me and my dad agreed a lot of the time, but we had a lot of disagreements as well, from everything from politics to what was going to continue to be popular in terms of tech, because both of us were like big like computer heads, and we had a really good time hashing those arguments out in a really civil way, you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of the times I would know some shit because I'm up to date like on what's happening in tech every day. My dad worked in the tech industry and specifically in networking, so he had a perspective that I didn't, and vice versa. Yeah, and that sort of experience kind of like, it made me enjoy the process of like hashing out beliefs and stuff. Grab a Hassie, how do I join the Discord? If you check my what are they called? I keep forgetting what they call them. My community posts, my member only community posts, Grab a Hassie. I have a link in one of them that I put out a while ago. That's a link to the Discord that is, it stays open. So do that. And if you don't see that, or for some reason it's not working for you, feel free to shoot me a DM and I'll send it right out to you. Okay, Reagan says, yes, I am a girl. Reagan's both boys and a girl's name, but more common for girls. I'm Irish, British, and Russian, genetically born in New Zealand. Man, you're a whole mix of stuff, Reagan. Damn. Hell yeah. Well, it's nice to meet you, Reagan. Welcome to the stream. Hoping you're having a good time. Oh, fuck. Come on. They're killing me. Internet is very confrontational. Well, yeah, like, and understandably so, because I think modern socio-political theory has given people the false impression that their beliefs in a first world country where resources are readily available and things like infant mortality and starvation are not necessarily massive issues. But these people have been kind of told the idea that their beliefs and wavering socioeconomic positions are life or death. And it's like, that sucks, man. It sucks to tell somebody that, because then what if they don't what if they don't act on those beliefs? That means that they're like actively contributing to somebody's death. Or, you know what I mean? It's just, that's a shitty way to communicate with people, and it makes people very zealous. Let's use the word zealous. Thunder's Productions. Thank you very much for the $10. Cheers, big dog. Very much appreciated. Looking forward to seeing you in the Discord. It's literally my favorite. It's the most chill place to hang out. I won't lie, man. The people in the Discord, it is the most fucking just motherfuckers chilling you've ever seen in your life. Like every once in a while, maybe an argument breaks out or something, but even then, it's a pretty good chance that it's going to resolve itself and people are going to be fucking respectful towards each other. I can't take any credit for that. That's just straight up the people who have been nice enough to follow me. So I think I'm just really lucky to have a solid group of people that have decided to chill in that Discord for sure. Will Black is White says, Jared, do you recall a while back during one of your live streams, some dude came in here, said he was a rather political and really enjoys debating, only for him to spurg out the moment you had a difference. That does tend to happen often. Pimp Daddy Kane says, hey, I just found your channel a few months ago. I had no idea you streamed. Welcome. I have been trying to do it more and more often, so hopefully you see me again. I've been trying to do it, so if you live in America, I'm in Japan, so I'm technically in the future. So for you guys in the West, I stream on Fridays and Sundays, but for me, I stream on Saturdays and Mondays. So if you have nothing to do on a Friday or Sunday night, I'm your man. I got you covered. You can hang out and shoot the shit with me all day. Oh, word. Okay, you got the link? Hell yeah, dude. Good to hear. I don't want to get rid of that junk. I know how important it is now. Okay. I wonder what the nomenclature is. So you have the B, maybe bulletproof, SP, maybe for speed. I mean, keep in mind, like, I've played a lot of Parasite Eve, but I've never actually thought about it deep in mechanical terms because it tends to be a really easy game, you know? But I don't want to get rid of the end jacket because I have so many open slots for attributes there, and I can't lose that. Maybe, you know, I do, if I get a super tool, I can bring all that plus the stats over, so. We live in tough times. We're going to have to figure this out. Always put your BP in active time. Ever have trouble with your captures looking softer than you see when you're playing? Bitbox, I used to. Hey, Vic Sauce joined up as a channel member. Thank you very, very much. Welcome aboard, man. Just like I was telling the other people who recently joined up, you get access to the Discord now. I have a community post with a link. Join it up, man. I won't lie to you. I spend most of my time in that Discord posting like new heavy metal and Japanese pop songs I've been listening to. Okay, so yeah, Bitbox. Man, you just got me off on a rant I've been meaning to go off on. I tend to use OBS to record, and I do that because OBS gives me very fine granular control over how my recordings come out. And I think you will find that you get sharper recordings when you record at a 444 color space, which means the RGB channels are uncompressed essentially. That leads to a much larger recorded file, but you can see a bit of sharpness lost if you aren't recording in 444, if you're really looking close for it, you know what I mean? But also make sure you're recording at the native resolution of the output source you're recording from. So for example, if you're recording a PS3 set to 720p and your recording software is trying to record in 1080p, you're going to get a softer picture because there's going to be scaling going on inside your capture card. And most capture cards, just like most TVs, don't have very good built-in scalers. And if you are capturing footage from, let's say, a home console like a PS2 maybe, oftentimes 480i interlaced video output can be misinterpreted and seen as like 240p, or like there's a lot of shit that could go on to make your recording soft. But if you want, because this is a subject I love hashing out, send me a DM on Twitter and I have no problems troubleshooting with you, and we can find out maybe what's causing your stuff to be a little softer than you'd like it to be. Just send me your setup, how you get things done, and we can run through it and we can see if we can't fix it. Avalanche reviews branded meth on the merch store when the United States government finally realizes the meth should be legalized. When they man up. I've been a follower for a couple of years now. I love having someone to chat about gaming and horror. Most people find my interest weird and scary. Hey, if anybody understands that, it's me. It's pretty amazing to think about that there are people, I mean, even further back than that, like there are people who have been commenting on my channel for so long that their usernames are incredibly memorable to me. Like there's a guy whose comments I respond to all the time, and he's named Cliff Fitter from Star Ocean Till the End of Time. And that's like a really memorable name because I enjoy that game. But like I recognize that person and feel like I have a sort of surface level knowledge of their personality just based on our interactions in my comment section. Bitbox Gaming, we've been talking for years now, right? Like it's insane to me that my content has A, been around for that long, and B, there are people who are so interested in it that they would be willing to keep watching it for years on end. Very cool compliment, because there's a lot of content creators that I've been following for years, and it's because I think their content is really good. So when someone's been following me for years, I'm left to assume, oh shit, maybe my content might be good. You know what I mean? Vic got that Omega level. Oh shit, Vic Sauce did. I didn't even notice that. I'm sorry for not pointing that out, man. Hell yeah. I feel like I should give you something now. There's got to be some sort of give and take there, right? PP Mega Doo-Doo. God, what a memorable name. This is the best part of the game because it's the part of the game where you get to deal with the most cum. And that's canonically true. Yeah, the snow is crazy right now, huh? It's very like, you know when the snow is very soft, so it flows in the wind like this instead of coming straight down. It's such a fucking pretty sight. Nah, I just enjoy your vids. Vic Sauce, I'm very much appreciative. I hope that, you know what, I fear often that my thanks, because I do try to just really like get across the idea how thankful I am to the people who support me, like who join up or comment or like a video. You know what I mean? That stuff truly means something. And I worry that because I do go so hard with that it comes across as like disingenuous, because I'm all the time like, thanks so much, man. Thanks so much, man. But yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible, the idea that I create the kind of content that someone would see as being worthy of their money, especially in a scenario where you never ever have to pay for my content. It's always going to be free, right? And like, no one ever needs to pay to see any of my videos. That's the way that I think about it. I think about it in the sense that like, you come to my house and I'm like, hey, you want a drink real quick? And I pass you a drink. And you're like, thanks, man, here's $20. It's like, no, you don't, like, you never have to pay for that, but you choose to anyways, which it says a lot, and it makes me feel pretty good. It puts a smile on my face. So thank you to like anybody, especially Vic Sauce, but anybody who has ever joined up, even if you're not a member now, if you were ever on the Patreon, if you've ever like super chatted or sent one of those super thanks on a video, or if you've ever shared a video out to your friends to see if they would like it. It's man, you have no idea how much that means to a person in my position, because I'm in that middle ground where I'm not small, but I'm not huge. I don't have a guaranteed income every month like a lot of YouTubers, where it's like, yeah, you know, I'll take the Bugatti out today. I'm not at that level. I live paycheck to paycheck just like everybody else, but the thing that separates it is I'm able to do it while I pursue a fucking dream that I'm in love with. And the only reason I can do that, and I can say that now because most of my content is now funded by viewers, where that wasn't the case before. But I can't do this stuff without you guys. And it's incredible that it's incredible that I can say that, because I can do this stuff. I'm doing it. And it's because I have a fucking group of people behind me supporting me that have never met me before. Like, that's wild, dude. Fucking wild. Ryex says, hello from Okinawa. Jared, update your Rumble. Do I have a Rumble? No way. Hold on. Rumble Avalanche reviews. I definitely misspelled a portion of that. There we go. Rumble. Like Rumble fucking the website. Don't say, yeah, see? Oh, hey, here we go. Hey, I am on Rumble. When was my last video? Oh, I remember. The guys from Rumble contacted me and wanted to know if I wanted my videos automatically uploaded on there. And they were, but then YouTube changed its API and it wouldn't allow for that anymore. That's back when they took away the dislike button, but there's no videos on my thing. Excuse me. I have 15 followers though. Maybe I probably should start doing that, because by the way, I just got fucking copyright struck on one of the coolest fucking things I've ever made. Oh, I'm so frustrated. I made the coolest movie trailer and I was worried about a copyright strike. I made a movie trailer for the game Flesh Made Fear, and I would play it on this stream and it'd get the stream copyright struck. But it was this cool like movie trailer, and I was doing the movie trailer boy. You know what I mean? And it got copyright struck, and I thought I was doing so good because I made sure to get the movie trailer sound effects and music from a YouTube channel that says you can use these sounds and music for free. And I was like, oh, that probably means that I can use these sounds and music for free. Little did I know that's not what that meant. So I'm probably going to have to re-upload that video without the trailer in it. And that was the coolest fucking part of the video. I fucking hate it. You know what? Speaking of which, how about this? I'm going to do that since everybody here is watching. I uploaded a backup of this video on Patreon, and I'm going to make that backup viewable to everybody if I can figure out how to do it. Library. Because I want people to see it. I really want people to see this because I think it's the coolest thing I've ever made. And if I show it to you here on stream, I risk the same problem happening to this stream. Let's go to settings. Publish date, more settings. Tags. No, I want like visibility. Publish and notify. How do I make this so that everybody can see it? I know there's a way to do it. Oh, it's under paid free access. Let everyone access this post. Okay, yeah. Free access. And then publish. Okay, so I'm going to send you guys a link. And first off, you get to watch the next video 2 weeks early. So that's pretty fucking dope on top of that. Just for you guys sticking around. And you know what? To celebrate us getting a bunch of fucking members, we might as well. Let's go to share. Copy post link. We'll stick it in the chat. That way you guys get to watch the Flesh Made Fear video about 2 weeks early, which is dope. But also you get to see the fucking kick-ass trailer I made. Except for YouTube Studio now won't let me fucking do anything. What the hell is going on? Okay, what if I open it from a new tab? What if I do that? Here we go. Let's go.
I am definitely looking to deep into Samurai Champloo, but I love how random it is because it feels like the show is telling you to live in the moment. Also, the music helped motivate me to stay off weed.
Hey, thanks for the $10, Chip Chap. That's fucking awesome, by the way. I mean, really and truly, like personally, I have a pretty positive stance on marijuana use as long as it's you know something that you can do. What's the word? In moderation. But if something helps you and allows you to get rid of something that's habitual in your life that you don't want to be there, I'm fucking on board, dude. I'm stoked for you, no joke. Okay, let's put this in here. Hopefully that shows up for everybody. And let me click on it to make sure. All right, so while we're doing this, I want you guys just to real quick, just pause the stream. Watch this movie trailer and tell me it's not the fucking coolest thing that anyone's ever done before. I only push so hard because my workplace is cancerous for YouTube, but Rumble works great still. You know, honestly, and it's a good idea in general just for me to have a backup, so you're not wrong at all, dude. Filmman as Jocko says, I've been here for 6 years, but YouTube changed my nickname for male, so you may not remember me. What was your old name? Let's see if I remember it. Oh yeah, Chip Chap's seen it. Yeah. I remember you commenting on it. Okay, so we want the 13th. Wait, do you do urban exploration and paranormal research too? I do not. What gave you that idea? I have done urban exploration just like randomly. Me and my mom and my wife were staying around Yamanakako and we found a hotel that was abandoned and we went up in it, which was fun. This is such a vibe, this scene right here. I love it so much. And the fact that it gives away the whole Chrysler building thing that you could get on New Game Plus. It's so cool. Maciek Urdis. Of course I remember. That's crazy. They changed your name. Holy shit. Jared, I shamefully started playing Raid Shadow Legends, and let's just say I wouldn't be mad if you took them as a sponsor. You know, it's weird you say that, Will Black is White. I literally just got an email from them, and I was like, nah. To be fair, though, listen, if you enjoy it, more power to you. I definitely don't have any problem with that. But I don't believe it would be a game that I would enjoy, and I couldn't do it for an ad. I mean, to be honest, with the way YouTube has kind of been fucked for me lately, I have more than entertained the idea of starting to do like ad reads during videos. I don't want to, but just, you know, for the time being, so that I can make sure that my wife doesn't have to like worry about our bills getting paid and stuff. And it's stressful for me as well. But I don't think I could ever do the Raid Shadow Legends thing, just because it's not a game that I personally wouldn't play and enjoy. And that being the case, I couldn't recommend it to anybody. You know what I mean? I think it's really important, if I do end up deciding to do brand deals and all the stuff like that, I think it's really important that I make sure it's for stuff that I use personally, that I enjoy, and that I think my viewers will also enjoy, because otherwise it wouldn't feel right to me. My brain wouldn't work the right way, and I couldn't do it. But if you enjoy it, man, more power to you. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. I don't think it's for me, though. Man, using haste is the fucking best thing ever.
If we both do YouTube, does that make us co-workers and be extension co-workers with creators like Spur Hunter and some Call Me Johnny?
I guess technically, yeah. Thank you for the $5, Chip Chat. Yeah, I think so. I think if you were heading to the water cooler, you might actually find me sitting right there too. Susie's really cool. Sphere Hunter, she's a fucking really nice person. What I like about Susie is there's been a couple of, I don't know Some Call Me Johnny, so I can't speak on him or anything, but I've known a couple of YouTubers that are much larger than me and that don't benefit from interacting with me on a personal level. You know what I mean? Sometimes a lot of YouTubers, the idea is that they get something out of an interaction, a collaboration, or, you know, whatever. But there are YouTubers like G-Man Lives, for example, who just is like a nice guy to talk to and always is down to talk about video game ports and graphical settings for upscalers. And same thing with Susie. She's into that stuff too. But they're also just down to be like, yo, you play this new game? It's sick as fuck. You know, just shoot the shit like friends do. And it's really cool to have that on YouTube from a content creator who's so much bigger than me and who has no reason to do that outside of the fact that they're just like a fucking down-ass person. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate that when YouTubers are just regular people. They're not, you know, Mr. Beast. They have interactions with people they enjoy talking to, and they don't necessarily feel like they need to stay within a certain subscriber count before they can start interacting with motherfuckers. But that being the case, that's me and you, Chip Chat, basically co-workers, right? So Beard Tonics and Manscaped it is then. You know, I'll be honest with you, Mr. Wolf Gore, I do not ever fuck with my beard outside of trimming it every once in a while. I've tried the whole wax thing before. Maybe I'm not doing it right or something, but it never does anything for me. It never makes my beard any more manageable. I've found that if you take a bit of time trimming your beard once every 2 or 3 months, then it kind of just keeps up with itself, or at least mine does. So, yeah, I don't think I could do the beard stuff either. Now, if like Manscaped wants to send me one of those razors that you like shave your body hair with, I shave my arms a lot. And I won't lie to you, like probably once every 2 months I shave my pubes too. So if they've got something to make that job easier, listen, I'll show that from the fucking mountaintops. Anything that makes that a fucking easier job, I'm down with. Dude, Mr. Beast gives me such an uncanny valley vibe. You know what the problem is at his level, he's not allowed to be a human being. Everything he does and says has to run through like a PR manager, and like And it's not just him. There, of course, are other YouTubers like that, and streamers too. A lot of streamers can't make a comment about anything happening in the world without first running it through like a PR manager. And it's like, I'm not, YouTube and streaming, the appeal used to be that you're a person and you have this, like, for example, I'm streaming here and people are able to just talk to me and ask me how I feel about things. And it's a sort of like just a regular conversation. But once you get to a certain point, that conversation isn't real anymore because that person's not being them. They're being the online version of them. And I don't like disingenuous shit. I don't enjoy when people are disingenuous. And maybe it's just me, but it seems very obvious when that is the case a lot of times with people. I don't know. I don't enjoy people that are dishonest and that put on a show and that have a character. I mean, it's one thing if you're like Civ 11 where the character is your shtick and that's awesome. But if Civ 11 were to like be afraid to like shit on a boomer shooter because maybe it would lose him clout in the boomer shooter community, then yeah, that would be fucking lame as shit. That would be just hella lame. I don't know. I want people to be real. And I enjoy the idea of YouTube because it is a kind of personal thing that a regular person can do. Oh, it's Vic Sauce. I couldn't find the Discord link. I'm just blind, lol. Hey, no worries. I can, Josine linked to it, but just in case, let me go to my studio, go to my, community posts, and I can find it real quick and link it to you. Oh, this might take a while, maybe. Oh, here we go. It's right here. To any new members. Yeah, perfect. How can I share the link to this? There's got to be a way, right? Okay, tell me if this works for you. Boop, bap, boop, bap, boop, boop, bap, boop, bap. I think this might work. It's wild how long I've been doing YouTube and how little I know about doing it. How do you feel about the misconception of remakes and remasters? True OG stream question. I seem to be in the minority. I really enjoy remasters and remakes. I think there's an argument for the industry not relying on them quite so heavily when it takes time and budget and manpower away from new projects. I can see that argument for sure. But I think I have always just really enjoyed the prospect of replaying a video game with a more modern graphical standard, or maybe slight tweaks to improve user friendliness. I think maybe Raido Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army is a really great example of a remaster that really goes out of its way to improve the original. Now, I think that there's a very, very good argument for them going too far and overcorrecting and getting rid of a lot of the game's original quirks, like being able to interview people on the street and the detective style, figuring out where to go next. And they've taken a lot of that away in the remaster. But then when you get into a fight, I don't think you could argue that the combat isn't far improved. In the remaster. And the same thing with the Star Ocean Second Story remaster. It's fucking incredible. You know what I mean? RE2 remake really wowed me when it first came out. I think its luster is failing to get me excited as much as I was in those early days now after I played it so many times. But I don't think you can take away from it that initial just fucking holy shit effect that it had on me. So I think that there's a lot of really good remakes and remasters out there. There are some that are very good examples of things not being done very well, like the Chrono Cross remake, for example, or remaster. Obviously not handled very well, and it's understandable people didn't really receive it too well. But that being said, I have Chrono Cross and it's available to me. And I think one of the big things is the game still publicly available to be played by people who enjoy it? And for the most part, a lot of these remasters that come out outside of Raidou Kuzunoha versus a Soulless Army, that's been the case. With games like Silent Hill 2, there's a much better argument for its scarcity because the PC port exists, sure, but you have to go outside of normal means to get the enhanced edition working, and it's not uncommon for somebody to not have the skill set to make that work. So I think that there's probably a good argument for remasters and remakes not taking up the entirety of the gaming landscape at the moment, but coming from somebody who enjoys them and who owns the originals anyway, so I stand to lose nothing. I'm all for them, really and truly. You know what I mean? Hey, Guardian Beardizer, what's up, dude? I'm so glad you're streaming tonight. Had a really bad day. Had to make the tough decision. Oh, fuck, man. They're giving her a week. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. That's a fucking shit situation. You have my, genuine and honest condolences. That's not fun, dude. Kiryu Belmont, thank you so much for joining up as a channel member. I know that it's not much, but hopefully sitting here shooting the shit with all of us gives you a bit of something to focus on other than that. I know when my dad was dying, the best thing for me was to just focus. I was working as much as I could. I was trying to do anything other than be inside my head for too long. So if we're able to facilitate that, all the better. I think every game needs at least a GOG style remaster, and on console. I mean, Good Old Games, I think, definitely does the right thing. They just make it playable on modern systems. You know what? I'm gonna admit to a bit of an overreaction on my part. When the Resident Evil collection came out on Good Old Games, I was disappointed because my frame of expectation was the Resident Evil Classic Rebirth mod, which allows a nearest neighbor scale, and it keeps everything just beautifully stock, and it's just awesome. And then when Good Old Games came out with the Resident Evil collection, it seemed to me that it was lesser in quality compared to the Rebirth mod, Classic Rebirth. Looking back now with better context, I think Good Old Games did the right thing. They put it out there. It's able to be modded if you want it, but it runs on PCs. It uses a controller, a modern controller. A person running Windows 10 or 11 can install it, and it's accessible. So I think I was very hard on them, and I shouldn't have been. I kind of feel bad about that, I'll be totally honest. My mind has definitely changed on that for sure. But I think Good Old Games is a really solid platform that offers a lot of value right now, especially as a competitor to Steam, because as you know, I like Steam. Steam's very good. I don't enjoy Steam's DRM, but it is sort of a necessary evil for the business model they run. So I'm on board with that. I get it, but I prefer GOG's DRM free model obviously much more. I used to have a deal through Good Old Games, but I so rarely covered games that could be found on their site that there was really no use in utilizing it very often. I don't want to. I really do have to. Once again, there's been a lot of people who have joined up as channel members on this stream, and I'm really appreciative. Thank you guys so much. I'm not 100% sure what's spurring people into finding my videos more reliably now and supporting me more than they used to before, but I can say with 100% certainty it's incredibly appreciated, and I couldn't do this stuff without you guys. So thank you all so much, and for those of you who are able to...
Just some overdue support, brother. You're such a kind and supportive badass. Cheers.
Hey, cheers right back at you, my man. Thank you so much for the $20. Much love, dude. Much love. Fuck yeah. I see what I'm saying. That proves it right there. You know what I mean? It's just, oh, please. Fuck. Okay, that's right. Okay, I forget you gotta mash out of it. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was for the last year, YouTube has been very tough for me in terms of putting a lot of effort in.
What other social platforms do you use?
Oh, Regan, I'm on Twitter at AvalancheJared, Jared. I think that's about it. I used to use Instagram to show off pictures of my cats in the video games that I bought recently. But I just basically use Twitter for all my photo dumps and stuff now. I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, I do. I remember. I was really disillusioned with YouTube because I'm still enjoying the creative output part of it, but it felt like less and less of my work was being seen by my core subscriber base and audience. And it's like, it was such a blow to me, because it's like, it would be one thing if I weren't gaining new viewers, because I'm not owed any sort of extra effort on YouTube's part to send my videos to people who otherwise would not have seen them, right? It's an organic process, and I understand that I kind of serve maybe a more niche crowd, but even the people who subscribe to me were saying dude, I thought that you stopped making videos because I've seen so few of your stuff. And something recently has happened, and I've been getting a lot of comments from people saying, yeah, this actually showed up on my feed. I'm really stoked. And I don't know, it's really reactivating a sort of creative fire inside of me, and it's making me feel really good. And I took a really big I made a really big promise to myself in the new year that I was going to create content and keep it to a schedule like I used to back before I moved to Japan and I was so busy. So now I'm aiming for once every 2 weeks, and I think it's working. I think people are seeing my stuff now, and the streams I think also are helping. And if you guys have been enjoying the streams, I'll be honest with you, my wife is the one who's like, listen, you got to stream more. And I think most of it's because I've been so socially isolated lately that she knows I need to talk to people. But yeah, I think lately I think streaming has really helped out in terms of getting people's eyes on the channel, and then the more reliable schedule with the updates with our uploads. Things have been going good, man. I don't know. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling really creatively jazzed. I'm feeling stoked on starting new projects and working on ones that I haven't finished yet. I've got a lot of cool shit in the works. I have 88 pages worth of a script for just fan translations. I'm really stoked. And the fact that I see that people are seeing my videos, because obviously I'm not owed any sort of people enjoying my videos. And if I make a video that isn't good, I don't expect everybody to love it just because, hey, Jared's a nice guy, whatever. But to see that people are just seeing the videos, even if they have criticisms, it's fuck, at least you saw it, So I'm feeling pretty good, dude. Hey, Jared or Joe, if you're in the chat, how's school been going for you? She's going through, me and her just had a really interesting kind of in-depth conversation. She's taking a class called The Digital Divide, and they're talking about access to the internet, how it's sort of changing things. It's how it's a force for good in places where it's not as available. I think she's really having fun with school so far. If I had to guess. I think she's down here right now cleaning. Regan says, I don't have Twitter. Do you still use Instagram? Is it possible to follow you on there? I basically have Facebook and Instagram. I believe my Instagram is still active. I think it's also Avalanche, Jared. Avalanche. Jared, but I will warn you, I don't post on there. And it's not, I don't have anything against Instagram. I would just start putting pictures on Twitter. Maybe I can Avalanche Reviews Instagram, Jared. Let's see if that comes up. That's not me. I'll be honest with you, I can't find it and I don't remember my login for Instagram. But yeah, I don't really do too much on there, sadly. Sorry. I think if I start doing better with my fitness, I'll probably use Instagram as a kind of fitness update. And when I get my physique the way that I would like it, I might use that as a platform to sort of like track progress and stuff like that. Because I think if I do that on main on Twitter, it's just like, I don't want to feel like I'm thirst trapping or anything. But it would be nice to have a visual indicator of progress being made. So maybe Instagram would be the place for that. So maybe one day I'll if I get my shoulders nice and round and if I'm able to lose a bit of fat, maybe I'll get back on Instagram. I need someone to commission that art. Imagine Crying Wolf from MGS4. I like his me. Okay, so this is something I've always wondered about, right? This monster shows up through the glass. Now, the spider fell through the ceiling, but it's right here on this first floor, but it looks more like a woman. Like these are her thighs that we're seeing. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of an image from, what's that comic, Witchblade? Somebody who's familiar with like 90s comics, tell me that's not like a Witchblade thing. Because like, all right, here's her two thighs, and then there's like her hips and her waist right there. And I don't think that's what that spider looked like. I've always wondered what that 2D image is supposed to be. The cutscene for dying here on the roof is much cooler than the one for surviving. You know, I'll be honest with you, Belkito, I don't think I've ever actually seen the cutscene for dying up on the roof. I've always made it off. I love how much you know about this game, by the way. It's so fucking... I love when I stream and I'm able to talk with people who like know shit inside and out. Because when I do a video on this later, which I totally intend on revamping the Parasite Eve retrospective, I'll be coming into it with a lot, like a larger base of knowledge, you know what I mean? The Max or something. Hell yeah, basically anything from Image Comics, essentially. God, I love the Max. I have, my right arm is the Max squaring off with Mr. Gone. Oh, you have if you've watched the intro? Interesting. Okay, so it made its way in there. Once Jared makes an Alien Isolation video, I can die in peace. I need to. Too many people are counting on me making that video for me not to eventually. Spawn is such a beast. Dude, man, growing up in the 90s, Spawn was such a jam. It was like, yeah, I'm reading comic books, but they're fucking hardcore, dog. My comic books have hell in it and shit. Just the idea of Spawn coming back and his wife moving on with a friend of his felt to me like such a, and this is a word that's overused in media a lot, but it felt like such a mature story compared to a lot of the comic books I was reading at the time. I was just fucking like, man, I was enamored. I was like, this is media that feels like it's made for people a little older than me, and that makes it feel cool as shit. You know what I mean? I love Spawn figures. Yeah, my buddy was here a few months ago, and we went to a secondhand shop right here in the neighborhood, and he got a really cool Violator figure, which you wouldn't think would be in Japan, but it was like a U.S. sold, like Todd McFarlane signature series Violator. It was really cool. The face that he makes in the animation when he sees that, like the animated show on HBO. God, that was so good. And then how it started off each episode with Todd McFarlane's sort of voiceover, like soliloquy. So fucking good, dude. So good. Aww. R.I.P. for Shiva. I recently took over an abandoned video rental store to use as a skate pot. Shut up. That's the coolest sentence I've ever read in my fucking life, Chip Chap. God damn it. I'm upset that I'm not you right now. Fuck. Oh, god damn it. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm really satisfied with a lot of aspects about how life has gone for me, but the fact that I can't say what you just said right now really pisses me off. Fuck me. God damn it. I would love an indoor skate spot here in Tokyo because my neighborhood is so quiet that I physically cannot bring myself to actually skate here on the street, even though there are 10 trillion places that are perfect little flat ground spots for me. There's a couple of 3 sets that I could just fucking go ham on. It's so quiet and so peaceful here, and I've already had the cops called on me once for skating. They'll let me skate around in terms of transportation, but if I don't land one kickflip and, it's like trucks up and my deck slams on the concrete, it's over. It's cold and I suck at skating, but it's fun. You're describing me right there, buddy. I'll die in peace when I see a Forbidden Siren retrospective. I feel Jared will sound like he lived and survived the game, not just played it. I will say the second game is a lot better than the first in terms of that trial and error feeling, but I never played the episodic PS3 one. Like I said, that's one of those series I'll probably end up playing when I have run out of projects that I'm super fucking stoked on. I never knew this was a mechanic. I always thought it was just to get rid of the junk. No idea whatsoever. I'm so pissed about that. Okay, so we're going to store some items for shizzle. God, I wish this process was automatic. You could just double click and it'd be good. Sometimes life ain't how you want it to be, boys. Am I okay? We're putting that over there. What else we got on this? We're going to keep the tools because we're going to come across some weapons. We might want to start using some of these attribute items that I've stockpiled like a fool. It'd be nice if I could just use them from here, though. It's like the menu is easy to navigate and it's visually very nice. Very minimalist, but in a sort of 90s way. Very good stuff, but it is clunky as all hell in terms of like deeper interaction. I need to remind myself to make that a point in my script when I talk about this, because that's like an interesting aspect to approach. I heel flipped a 7 stair back in the day. Now I'm too old, 32. Dog, you're never too old, trust me. I have quit skating every 2 years since I've been alive. I keep picking it back up, man. You know what I truly think? You know, you guys know that I have a pretty wild death anxiety thing. And I think if there's one thing that is a positive from that, it's that I hate the whole I'm too old thing. I feel like when people say I'm too old, they are speaking that into reality. So, man, I never get the feeling I'm too old to do something. And maybe it's a mental thing too, because I really don't feel like an adult. I'm still a fucking dork. And like the word booby still makes me laugh. I still laugh at farts, you know what I mean? So like, I don't think I've grown up from being a teenager, but I still skate. My knees hurt after I do it, but that's about the only difference. The menuing is clunky as fuck in this game. Yeah, especially when you're trading items back and forth. When you're just, I like that the tune-up and the BP stuff and like these two having their own. All right, let's do a little menu analysis, right? So the tune-up weapons and armor and the distribute BP, those are great to have as their own individual options on the side for this menu here. Sort should be a sub option in the item menu. We could get rid of that right now. Now the system option, that's convenient, but guess what we can also do? We can pause this game. System needs to be accessible from the pause menu, I would say. We could get rid of system, we can get rid of sort, and then that leaves us with a pretty succinct menu where we have categories for items, parasite energy, weapons, armor, and then customizing either our stats or our weapons. That feels to me like a much cleaner menu, although it wouldn't match the width of the current menu. So we could probably increase the size of these icons. We have enough space, screen real estate here on the right to be able to do that, to increase them enough to proportionally fit to where they're right in line with the bottom line of this menu here. I think we just fucking did it, boys. I think we just fucking fixed Parasite Eve. We're in. Oh, speaking of which, we got a few guns. Damn, that G3A3 is fucking heavy duty with the range. Let's see what kind of stats we're working with there. I mean, not terrible. And it's not like I'm getting anything from, although it does have a lot of open slots too. But I kind of like the shotgun. The micro Uzi we have no use for. We may as well get rid of that. But I don't necessarily want to waste a tool on getting rid of it. So maybe we'll store it with Wayne. I know Belquito will let me know if I'm making a huge mistake, so I'm pretty confident. Let's get the SG550 over here. We might be able to pilfer that for some attributes. The M84F we'll keep over there. Let's see what you have also, though. All the shelves are still intact. Dude, man, Chip Chav, I am not being performative when I say I'm so jealous of what you get to do. That's so fucking fun, man. Just skating an abandoned video rental store. You're essentially living in a Tony Hawk game, and I couldn't be more happy for you. SG550. Okay, so let's go to here. RM79, SG550. So what do we get from the grenade launcher attribute? Add heat effect to bullets. Will that help me in any way? Belkita, what do you think? Should we be adding the heat attribute? The G23, I don't think we need this necessarily. It's not the strongest thing in the world. And the ×3, I really don't like. I think the 2-shot is the most efficient. Unfortunately, I'm too broke to get my hands on Kuon. You know, I enjoy Kuon for what it is, but that is a pretty clunky video game. It is fun once you figure it out, though. It requires you to learn its intricacies. Legit considered a sugar daddy for a copy of Kuon. Hey, listen, however you get it done, there's no judgments here. If you can grow that collection, do it. I was not totally paying attention, if I'm being honest. Okay, so we have the M79 here. I'm trying to main the M79 for the moment. It has a tranquilizer effect. My wife's using the hairdryer, by the way, if you hear that. But here with the M203, we have the heat, the added heat attribute. And I don't know, is that worth taking off the M203 and adding to my M79? Like, is there... I don't really know what the heat attribute does. I mean, extra damage, or what are we thinking here? I was lucky enough to get Kuon and Haunted Ground for my dad back in the day. Whoa, dude, you lucked out hard. Fuck yeah. I bought Kuon 4 months ago. It's actually pretty fun. I love the card system. I think the ideas should be brought back. I mean, I think any old survival horror, like, offshoot should be brought back. Oh, by the way, I found these at the Konbini. So for anyone who's ever had tantan men, which is like Chinese ramen, but with chili oil and a little bit of minced meat in it. So this is bian men, which is basically like really wide, thin noodles with the chili oil, but it's not a ramen broth. It's almost dry. I don't know if you can see it on here. It might be hard to focus on. But it's really good. And then there's these chips that are bian men flavored, which is pretty cool. I'm stoked on it. Okay, so enemies have elemental weaknesses. Heat'll do more damage. Fuck, what if I end up like shooting myself in the foot though, because some of them have a strength against heat. Psst, Jared, I need a copy of Kuon. Dude, if you're looking for a sugar daddy, you're looking in the wrong place. I need a sugar daddy way more than you. Crayon Eater says, hold up, you're in Tokyo? Yes, sir. It just stopped snowing here in Tokyo, actually. But I think it's supposed to kind of snow off and on all day. And tomorrow, too, yeah. It's instinctful to main one weapon in this game, but it helps to keep different effects because there are resistances, yeah. You should have multiple. Okay, so what if we keep the M203 on us? Oh, it's so weak, though. That's the problem. That's the issue. What if we... Okay, so what if this... All right. The closest thing to our base attack is the G3A3. And it's got hella range. So what if we take... Okay, that's what we'll do. We'll take the heat effect, slap it on the G3A3. It's got a bunch of open attribute slots, and we can put another one in there with a trading card. That's what we'll do. That is what we will do, good sir. And it's a single shot, which will just kind of change up the combat a bit. Dude, I fucking love weapon customization in this game. This is such a fun fucking video game. I love it so much. Hell yes. Okay, so we could put the G3A3 away then. For the moment. I'm not 100% if it was the G3A3 I did want to put away. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Now we just have to find a bunch of weapons to add on to the base damage here. Oh, wait, I thought... Oh, no. It was not the SG550. It was... Okay, I'm a fucking ding-dong. Okay, here we go. 550 with the G3A3, if you please, good sir. Jared, you need to try my Indian-Japanese fusion food. Oh, the tandoori karaage you were talking about. That sounds fucking delicious, no joke. I mean, karaage is great anyways. Throw anything else on top of it, I'm game. You don't have to tell me twice. There we go. Okay, so we've got a good base with this one, with the G3A3. All we need is to slap up that damage a bit, which we can do by grabbing a few other weapons across this playthrough. In your opinion, what was the best year for horror games? You know, that's tough for me to say because this is going to sound pretty surprising. I don't necessarily get into horror games in general. I really enjoy the gameplay loop of survival horror specifically. So for me, it's probably like 97 to 2002, because that's when so many survival horror games were being made and they were sort of in vogue at the time. But, you know, I don't necessarily get a huge kick out of horror in general. There are games that are horror games that I enjoy. And there are games that maybe, oh, we have the invest as well. Okay, maybe we'll transfer some of these over and see if we can improve our armor situation. Yeah, but there are some horror games that I really get into, like the first-person Call of Cthulhu game, which the old one on Xbox, Dark Corners of the Earth. But horror is not necessarily a genre that I go out of my way to play. It's just survival horror specifically that I find to be the most effective at. And this is another issue, I don't necessarily get scared by video games anymore. But I think that there's a lot of stuff in survival horror that does a really good job of like creeping me out. And to me, that's kind of like more important. Okay, so none of those are useful. Yeah, so I think what survival horror is so good about is it emphasizes atmosphere over everything, basically. And a lot of the more unnerving situations I find in video games tend to come from an isolating atmosphere. Things in Silent Hill, like logically, a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. You know, little stuff like that. That's what I look for in video games. But I think the late 90s was the best time to get into horror video games. If I had to throw my hat in that ring. Picky with horror as its own genre. Yeah, exactly. I get where you're going. That's why I struggle a bit with RE7, that and the FPS. I remember, man, there were so many people who were so pissed at me because I thought, you know, because it's first person. I'm like, I don't know. I think the perspective is tied into survival horror. And to be fair to them, I have softened on that issue quite a bit since then. But I still think it's a conversation worth having, and not, you know, people hand wave that away so fast. But really and truly, it's like, I think there's a solid argument for perspective being one of the key areas of survival horror. And I think Resident Evil 7, taking a look back on it after having the full context of several playthroughs, there are moments of survival horror within RE7, but I think there are also moments of just straight up a puzzle game or moments of straight up shooting action. Whereas a game like Resident Evil 2 is a survival horror game throughout the entirety of the experience. You know what I mean? 2002, objectively. Remake, RE0, Eternal Darkness, Fatal Frame. I mean, listen. It's hard to argue with you. In your opinion, which game genre would you think mixes well with survival horror? I was just about to say, yeah, RPGs. I think RPGs and survival horror can really work together. It's not easy, but I think survival horror theming and gameplay elements can work their way into a RPG style combat system really well. The only problem is survival horror gameplay is sort of predicated on the idea of trying your hardest to, or at the very least having the option to try your hardest to avoid combat, where with RPGs, you tend to want combat to be fun enough for the player to engage in willingly. So it's a tough middle ground that you sort of have to skirt, but I think it's definitely doable. And I think games like, oddly enough, Resident Evil Gaiden kind of come close to setting up a foundation. It doesn't get there, but I think the way combat is initiated in Gaiden would be a good jumping off point for a future survival horror RPG to take a little bit of advice from, I think, for sure. I remember when the first Resident Evil came out, so many survival horror games came out after. My second survival horror game I completed was Overblood. Whew. You had to work your way through Overblood on your own? That's tough, dude. That's fucking tough. Survival horror Neptunia. Star Tomato, do you actually play the Neptunia games? Because I can't see you actually playing those for some reason. It's funny considering RE was a spiritual successor to an RPG. Yeah, exactly. I think here's how I would word that. I think Resident Evil was a project successor to Sweet Home, because the idea was to sort of replicate the experience of Sweet Home on a new console. But I think in terms of spiritual successor, we're probably talking more of how the game works and operates. And I think Alone in the Dark, for sure. You know, Alone in the Dark was the game that took the point and click adventure style and combined it with the third person fixed camera, fully controllable character archetype that Resident Evil refined into a more laser focused version of that gameplay style that we can now call survival horror. And, you know, obviously you can't discount that Sweet Home not existing would probably lead to Resident Evil not existing. But if we're talking mechanically and how the little gears turn inside the game, Resident Evil is a spiritual successor to the gameplay style of Alone in the Dark, with the theming of Sweet Home as an inspiration for its setting and some of the more surface level visual ideas within it, I think. But that's coming from like my own perspective. You know how I am, dude. Actually, I just beat the first remake for the first time. I've only ever played the first game, and I remember, you know, once you, because sometimes when you play games like that, you do have to kind of get past the fan servicey elements of it, but it's, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. That's pretty awesome. You actually played it. All right, guys, I think I'm going to get out of here. I'm feeling jazzed. I'm going to work on a script for Max Payne 2 retrospective. I am, God, I want to say 17 pages into it. It's going to be a long one. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. All of you who were here, I appreciate it. And because you were here, you get to see my next video 2 weeks early. just because I'm a nice guy like that, and because everybody has been so nice and supportive. I'll put it in there again. Also, when this video does come out, it won't have this trailer in it unless these people give up the copyright strike. So you will be a part of history, of lost media, by watching this, and specifically the movie trailer in the start. I want your guys' input. It's the coolest. Hopefully all of you have a really, really good day. Thank you all so much. Today, you were incredibly supportive, and I can't tell you how appreciative I am. All of you, please don't drive drunk. Make wise choices. And let's get on that fitness grind. Let's get fucking jacked. Let's lose that fat, visible abs this summer, boys. I'll talk to all of you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.